could barely be around her without wondering what it would be like to pull her jacket off, slip his hands under her silk blouse and cup those magnificent breasts. As she blew down her shirt again, he let his eyes drift over her face. She was an attractive woman. There was something about her cheekbones and the curve of her full lips that just about made his heart stop. Her dark hair was pulled into its usual twist, but by this late in the evening a few strands had escaped and were curling around her neck. He wondered how long her hair was. He wondered if it was as silky as it looked, and wondered how it would feel draped across his thighs as she used that generous mouth too. He groaned to himself, and dragged his gaze away from her, willing his erection to go down. He had never acted inappropriately with an employee before, and he was annoyed by his lack of self-control around her. She wasn't just beautiful, he thought. She had proved to be smart and efficient at her job, and her direct supervisor, Jerry Hansen, couldn't say enough good things about her. Still, he fought his growing attraction to her by being cold and rude, and she had responded with her own chilliness. Lucy cleared her throat and stared at him, her dark eyes wide with nervousness. "How long do you think it will be?" He shrugged and loosened his tie, pulling it over his head and dropping it to the floor next to his suit jacket before unbuttoning 2 buttons of his own shirt. "I don't know." Lucy's eyes dropped to Jason's chest. She could see a hint of dark, curly hair, and she moistened her suddenly dry lips with her tongue. Sweat beaded up on her brow, and she wiped her palms against her skirt. Why did he have to be so goddamn attractive? She thought irritably. It would be much easier to ignore him if he wasn't the typical tall, dark and handsome type that regularly invaded her dreams. Not that there was any point to dreaming about him. Guys like Jason Young didn't fall for girls like her. He would favor the tall, thin and blonde model types with their flawless, tanned skin and perfect hair. At 5 feet 9 inches she fit the bill for being tall. But her thick, dark hair was impossible to tame, her skin pale and prone to blotchiness when she was nervous, and her chunky body would never be mistaken for a model's. She could and did attract plenty of male attention. She dressed for her body shape, and she was proud of her curves. Her thighs might touch and her stomach might not be perfectly flat, but she knew how to work with her assets, especially her breasts. No one here would know it. At the office she preferred to wear clothing that downplayed her chest, but outside of work she wore tight shirts with low necklines that showcased her firm cleavage. She had an active dating life. Or did, she amended. Since Jason was hired 6 Months ago, her sex life had died out dramatically. It was hard to get laid when you were spending most of your free time at the office. It was yet another reason to dislike him. She sighed and leaned against the elevator wall. She seemed to be the only woman in the office who didn't like him. He could be, and was, often charming to the other women, and when he chose to use it, his smile weakened the knees of every female employee in the building. Even Carol, the 57-year-old receptionist who had a grudge toward almost every man she came across, giggled like a schoolgirl when he turned on the charm.